Welcome to Women Lead, a production of the Women of Color Empowerment Institute. We are your hosts. I'm Bernadette Norris Weeks.
I'm Michelle Austin-Pammies.
And I'm Kathy Eggleston.
Today we will be discussing gospel music and the influence it has had on Black culture. Assisting us in truly understanding the topic will be two-time Grammy Award-winning artist, pastor, and musical genius, Oliver Wells, who produced the theme song for our Women Lead show. Women lead with passion, they commit to succeed.
All right.
Yeah, they lead, they don't sing.
They don't sing.
Okay.
Gospel music is a profound and integral part of Black culture, deeply rooted in the historical and spiritual experiences of African Americans. Its influence extends beyond music, shaping various aspects of our identity, community, and our social movements.
Gospel music emerged from the spirituals sung by enslaved African Americans during the 19th century. These songs were a means of expressing their faith, sorrow, resilience, and hope amidst the brutal realities of slavery.
So ladies, I'll tell you, we have always had, with Women of Color Empowerment Institute, gospel music as a really foundational element of what we've been doing with many of our events.
At many conferences, we had the gospel brunch on Sundays, and we invited some pretty famous gospel artists.
Yes, we did.
Shirley Caesar, Regina Bell, I could go on.
You could go on.
And right now we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to be talking to a creator, someone who actually makes the gospel music besides singing it, a two-time Grammy Award-winning artist, a four-time Stellar Award nominee.
Oh, he's amazing. But more importantly, he is
Bernadette Norris' husband.
Oliver Wells. And he will be joining us today right after these messages. Come back and hear from none other than pastor, composer, producer, Grammy Award-winning artist, Oliver Wells. At the Women of Color Empowerment Institute, our mission is to enhance and expand leadership by women of color. We do this in a variety of different ways, including but not limited to providing mentorship opportunities for young professionals where we assist in helping to create paths to leadership. We empower women to develop capacities for social change. We produce programs that promote heritage awareness, and we provide training opportunities for business and government. Our institute holds seminars focused on professional success techniques, and we host many other events such as our popular Advocates for Change and Leaders Connect. The Women of Color Empowerment Institute publishes a magazine called Women Lead. Our signature event is the Women of Color Empowerment Conference, a yearly conference where hundreds of leaders gather from all across the United States and beyond. To learn more about membership and how you can support our programs or be a sponsor of the Women Lead TV, visit us at nationalwomenofcolor.com. Again, that's nationalwomenofcolor.com.
To you forever. No matter what you do, I'm committed to you. And nothing could ever separate me from the love of God. I'm committed to you forever.
Welcome back to Women Lead. Our topic today is gospel music, its history and impact on our culture. And we are being joined by pastor, two-time Grammy Award winner, artist, composer, historian, Oliver Wells.
Oliver Wells,
Welcome to Women Lead.
Thank you. I'm just excited to be here.
We are happy to have you.
Thanks.
We are. Before we get into the history of gospel music, please tell us a little bit about your history with gospel music.
All right. And of course, in order to get to that, I need to quickly talk about my history with music, period. Because I'm blessed because my parents made sure that they exposed me to great instrumentalists and that kind of thing. So I was blessed to be around great musicians at church. And that made it better. Of course, I was able to hear my mother as a musician. She was Yeah, she was a musician. She was a great pianist and really could have done that as her life's work. However, at Spelman, she was redirected into library science, and she wanted to do that. So she ended up making that jump into library science. But as a child, in fact, I have this on my website, and I just need to mention it. I heard her numerous times play, and there were times where I had to really run to the bedroom because tears were coming out of my eyes, because what she was playing was just so incredibly beautiful. So I came up with that. Of course, I've been playing as long as I've been, as I can remember being alive. My parents tell me how I began, but I don't even have knowledge of it. All I know is that as long as I can remember, I've been playing.
What other formal training do you have? Because I remember you speaking about.
Oh yeah. My mother made sure. My mother being an educator, and my father being a trained pastor, they made sure that I was exposed to great teachers. Of course, with my mother being at our community college, I was enrolled there in music while I was still in I was in my last year of junior high school. And so she got me on, she had me on the course. My time at Interlochen helped me because I was able to meet some great influences. Gunther Schuller I met, and he had a profound impact on me to the point where I wanted to write. I wanted to go into composition. And so it was my joy to be able to be exposed to great instrumentalists. I'm in South Florida. Ira Sullivan is a name I have to call because Ira and his amazing multi-instrumentalist ability just influenced me to no end, to the point where I was writing scores for my local high school marching band. I was doing arrangements for the marching band.
That's amazing.
And it was exciting to be able to do those. And so, and I had a band director at the time that did not brush it off. He encouraged me to keep writing, and I did.
And so, before we go forward, take me back a little bit to the connection between our experience here in America and Africa,
Right.
vis-a-vis gospel music.
Oh yeah. Because even though it was not gospel in Africa, there's some things about our African experience and sojourn, especially from Ghana to these shores. It's important that I talk about that. When we got here, we brought with us our understanding. It wasn't what we saw it as, but we brought with us an understanding of a creator. We understood, and it became expressed in our religious ceremonies, that there was something greater than we were. And of course, talking about gospel, we hear the song over our heads, there's music in the air. But the conclusion was, there must be a God somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so when we would hear that, we know, and when I think about it, it's the relationship with our time in Africa. We brought our own tonal system to these shores. We had that. Of course, I was talking earlier and reminded of the pentatonic scale that we brought with us from Africa.
Break it down, Pastor.
Okay, let me go back. Pentatonic scale, of course, when you look at a piano, you see, and this is, of course, this isn't by design, but it's real. You see the white keys of a piano, well, you can imagine it would be hard to play if all the keys were white, because you need some visual understanding of what you're touching and what you're playing. So the black keys, but the black keys on a piano, every piano, is the keys are the pentatonic scale. If you just played the black keys, interestingly enough, they're the pentatonic scale. And of course, the blues scale comes from that. And there's a huge amount that comes from those black keys. No pun intended, but that's what it is. But it's genius in those black keys because, of course, songwriters now, they want to get something, a melody that is, and they want to get a melody that's based on a pentatonic scale. I dare say, Women Lead, the theme song, all right, is based on the pentatonic scale. Okay, I didn't think about that until just then, but it is. It's based on the pentatonic scale, and so that's important. We brought that with us to the shores of America. We brought that with us to Point Comfort. And when we got off of the ship, that's what we had with us. And so we need to celebrate where we've come from and celebrate what we have and really remove all of the false notions that we gained all of this here in this country. No, we had that before we left. And it was part of our baggage. And it was a great part of baggage, not in a bad sense, but in a positive sense.
That has contributed
It's
to
contributed.
this country.
Right, to this
Absolutely.
country. And those contributions must be recognized and celebrated because we are great people with a great past and we are overcomers.
So that's a good transition into the question. What role did gospel music play in the civil rights movement, if any?
Yeah, that's a great, music played, and gospel music played a huge role. Of course, there were creators, since you brought that term, there were creators of music and songwriters that were very important in that day of the movement in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Names like James Cleveland, I have to call his name. I have to call the name of a great producer that just contacted me, who now, since retirement, has relocated to Orlando, and that's Reverend Milton Bigham. Milton Bigham now lives in Orlando, and he along with Arthur T. Jones, I need to call his name. Arthur was the founder of the Florida Mass Choir. These are influencers and creators of gospel music, and their music was heard simultaneously as we were marching for our rights. Of course, even at that time, civil rights, in the civil rights movement. And so Mahalia Jackson singing, very important at that particular time. Yeah. So these are names that have to be recognized. And of course, the songs of the civil rights movement are important. All right? Those songs were motivating, not just captivating. They motivated us while we were marching. Songs like I Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Round. And the back end of it, keep on marching, keep on talking, marching up the freedom road. We weren't going to let anything stop us. And we weren't going to let anybody turn us around because we knew that our our quest for freedom and our quest for equality was a God-ordained and a God-designed quest that was sure to come about.
And we shall overcome.
We shall overcome. Absolutely. And I was in a gathering the other day in February where people wanted to sing "We Shall Overcome," and they were singing. But what they weren't doing, and this was a great move. Michelle, come on. Yeah, that's what they would do. All right? And whenever they sing "We Shall Overcome," they would join and lock arms with one another. And they'd sing. And that was what was so powerful about it, because people would be reminded that in order to overcome, we don't overcome by ourselves.
But I'm going to give you the opportunity to do something that apparently you don't care much about, but we'd like to have it, which is to brag about you a little bit. So I want you to share with us, what is it that brought those Grammys to you?
Oh,
what projects? And just a little, talk to us about that.
Okay, well, really, listen, let me give praise to God Almighty, because it's in my understanding and my faith tradition, it's my understanding that every gift comes from the Father, which is above. And so, first of all, I recognize that the Lord has placed me in circumstances where I came to know those artists. The first Grammy was done when a great friend of mine, Larry Goss, who was a great arranger in Nashville and a great composer, arranger, pianist, amazing pianist. Larry was not able to do a session and I had to back out at the last minute. But I had been steeped in the music of that session with the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. And God has always used somebody to walk me indoors. Babby Mason, who and I have to call her name because Babby opened the door for me to work with Brooklyn Tabernacle, because she was the one that said to them, "Do you all know about Oliver Wells?" And they said, "Who is Oliver Wells?" And she said, "You need to know about Reverend Pastor Oliver Wells, who is a great pianist." Well, they were looking for somebody to help with their recording projects. And Carol Simbala, who is the creative mind behind Brooklyn Tabernacle, and Lord, He really uses her in beyond herself. She contacted me, and she said, "Listen, I need to get you to come up because Babby's told us about you, and you're a full-time pastor." And I said, "Yes." "And you're a pianist as well?" I said, "Yes." So I went up to Brooklyn Tab, met them, and when Larry could not do this particular session, I ended up continuing with the work, continuing with the of course the performances for the track, continuing with the orchestration, because Brooklyn Tabernacle uses full orchestra. Yeah. Nice. Beyond nice. All right. Real players in the room. And so I was able to finish a large amount of the orchestrations, walked the project through, and of course, it was my being involved with that ended up making it where I was able to get that Grammy. I would not have gotten it except for Cheryl, a friend of mine that was on the Board of Governors there in Atlanta, and she walked my name in, and the next thing you know, I received that Grammy.
What about the other one?
The other one was with Philip Bailey, I wrote The Love of God, which was one of the songs that was on his Triumph CD, and that particular Triumph CD won a Grammy.
Which was a wonderful, wonderful record.
Yes,
Yeah.
wonderful
Yeah.
record.
Yeah. Wonderful record.
Yeah.
So I've again, God has blessed me to be in a lot of great places in the right time, at the right time, in the right place.
And you've been the right man.
And I've been,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, let's not be too
Yeah,
humble.
right,
Because,
yeah.
So I want to pick up and ask you a little bit about the evolution of gospel music. It's been lockstep with our history and our time in this country, and you had mentioned before, Oh Happy Day.
Right.
Gospel music has to continue to evolve with us. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on that.
Okay, yeah, that's, wow. Let me talk about what has been and what needs to be. Okay. I believe, okay, right now, because I have some deep-seated convictions about this. Historically, we were, as a people, able to move from what was a very strict definition of what gospel music was seen as, okay? Because along with the growth of the church came the growth and the opening of different forms of expression in what was accepted as gospel music, and especially in a worship form, context. You know, because in worship, we weren't able to do everything that we're able to do now. Yeah. I remember the times, of course, you all might know it too, when drums might not have been accepted in a worship experience.
That's true. I remember that.
Yeah, but now it's accepted. And a lot of that happened because of Edwin Hawkins and Oh Happy Day. By the way, the song that I wrote, that Earth, Wind & Fire used on their reunion album as their theme song, Touch the World. Philip and I were talking about how the vocals needed to be done. And I had the idea, and it was a groundbreaking idea, to bring Edwin and Walter Hawkins in, along with the Hawkins family, to sing the vocals of Touch the World with Earth, Wind & Fire, Maurice and Philip.
Nice.
It was an amazing, amazing thing that happened. And so Edwin was a trendsetter, because Oh Happy Day changed the musical landscape for what was accepted, all right, with gospel music. And he did it. And now, where we are now today, because of what had happened with Edwin and the opening of those creative doors, you have people expressing themselves now in a multiplicity of ways. And that has to continue to happen because, and the reason I know it has to happen is because of what we as people of color are having to endure. It's related, all right? The struggles that we're going through are struggles that rob us. And you have a lot of people that are struggling today. Listen, somebody I'm talking to today, this is important. You're struggling because you are dealing with a deficit of hope. But I believe the music, our expression of the music and of our relationship with the Creator can bring hope, all right, for people in hopeless circumstances and situations.
And you're so right, and I think that we're finding solitude in gospel music. I mean, the event that we talked about that we did not long ago, where we brought women together and we celebrated local gospel artists and listened to music, that sold out in probably 2 weeks.
Right.
And we were at capacity for this event that we had. And I mean, so it's just people wanting to experience what gospel music says to us about hope and about resilience and about keeping and moving forward, and all of the songs that we can draw on, you know, just to keep motivated.
Right.
Right.
I need to credit the three of you because women do lead, and you all led in that. You're right. You were leading, and it wasn't by chance that you did it at that particular time, and that you're doing this now at this time because, again, our circumstances may seem hopeless, but it's more, the music becomes an expression to remind us and to motivate us that if we keep pushing through these hopeless times, there's a bright side somewhere.
Because Jesus will work it out.
Jesus will work it out if you let it.
If you let him.
I have this to say. We've gotten a lot of history, a lot of culture, but we also have gotten a little bit of preacher. And all of that is
good
useful.
for a Sunday morning.
Yeah, very good. All of that is worthy.
Right, yeah.
And so thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
and for participating and sharing with us your wealth of knowledge. I hope you'll be back.
Yeah.
You have so much more to share.
We're going to have you back.
Well,
So
I
you
appreciate
can't get
that.
away from us.
I appreciate that. Well, of course, we're cousins.
That's right. We're joined.
We're joined. All right, but for Michelle and for Kathy, I'm glad to be able to come and to share, and it's my joy to share with you today.
We enjoy
And we are
having you.
so grateful to you for our theme song.
Oh,
Yes, we
We
are.
sing it all the time.
Well, I'm grateful to the Lord and to you for calling me to be able to do it because that's part of what I do.
And he came up with it he was like, I'm on a plane, I'm going to Atlanta, I'll get my people together. And the next thing I knew, like a week later, we had a full song. And I thought, oh my goodness, verses that we don't even have the time for the intro to accommodate. So cousin, you are truly talented. You are living your best life and on your journey of your truth. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm living like it's golden.
Yes, you
Yes. I love it.
Because it is.
Amen. Well, we've had a wonderful show today with Oliver Wells. And until the next time, be empowered.